Music. What a beautiful thing, am I right? So many different kinds of styles and genres and artists out there to explore. It's really one of the universal languages. You could turn on a song that I don't know a single fucking word to, but if that shit sound good, you'll catch me vibing to it. I don't give a fuck. I mean, everywhere you go, you hear music. It's on your TV, it's in your headphones, it's in every store you walk into. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but we can all agree that it's something that the majority of people fuck with. So much so, in fact, that I am making a whole video just talking about music, at least my personal experience with it. I would say, like, overall, my personal journey and relationship with music is kind of interesting. I don't know if it's the same for anybody else, but you know, I'm gonna talk about it. First, let me ask you guys a question. Just by looking at me, what kind of music do you think I listen to? I'll give y'all a second. You know, just think. Have you thought? You figured it out? All right, let's see. Are you gonna be right? If you said rap, hip hop, or R&B, you're racist. But you're also technically not wrong. So let's just say it cancels out. Now let me hit y'all with another question. What kind of music do you think I grew up listening to? I'll give y'all a couple more seconds again, all right? All right. If you answered rap, hip hop, or R&B, you'd be racist and wrong. When I was growing up, my knowledge of music was like about the equivalent of my knowledge of the 9/11 attacks before the Epstein files released. This video was written like at the start of this year, so that joke might not even like matter anymore, but we're gonna just keep it in. My parents never played much music around the house when I was growing up. My only exposure was really like sitting in the backseat of the family car and like listening to the latest hits on the radio, or when I would watch like music videos on the TV with my aunt. But when you give an elementary schooler unrestricted internet access and a laptop, they tend to find some glorious things on the internet. For me, that glorious thing was Minecraft music videos. This was the shit I would be bumping back in the day, man. It was, you know, Sky does Minecraft, Asian Canadian, you know, shit, I don't know. Those are the two I can think of off the top of my head. But those guys, they made music, not really, but had songs like New World, Hunger Games, How Do I Craft This Again, Screw the Nether, Do You Like My Sword, which is like a very questionable title now. You know, if you know what Tabuscus did, you know, then you know what I'm saying? And you cannot forget the goat of all goats, MCAP Steve. If that name does not sound familiar to you, search it up. You'll find one of the greatest songs to ever be released on the internet. There were so many more that I didn't even mention, but this was a prime time in human existence. This was almost like 2016 XXL freshman cypher level of like greatness. It doesn't get better than this, guys. I personally believe that some of these parodies were even better than the original songs. And the amount of work that went into actually like making these songs is low-key kind of insane. You don't realize it as a kid, but like a lot of these videos are like 2D or 3D animated. Songs had to be, I mean, it was a parody, but you had to write your own lyrics and make it in theme with Minecraft. Probably had to be reproduced and had like a different arrangement that might mean the same thing. I'm not 100% sure, but I just know that it took a lot of work. And even though that these songs were parodies, I mean, they were pretty creative, you know? I'm not gonna say that, you know, that they're trash, because they're not. That would be me lying. This eventually stemmed out to even more YouTube songs that weren't Minecraft related. We have like PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye. Those guys had their own little songs going on because that was popping back in the 2010s for whatever reason. I'm not complaining though. Those also had a lot of effort thrown into them. Usually they did things like remix their voice and make a whole original song out of it. By the way, I never mentioned, most of these guys didn't even sing on any of their songs. I think the only person that ever sang was like Sky Does Minecraft back in like New World or something like that. Every other guy had someone else singing and it just got posted on their channel. I don't know. They're still fire though. I remember back in the 5th grade, they would give us Chromebooks to do work on. I don't know why they thought that that would be a good idea, because it wasn't. But you know me, I didn't give a shit. Obviously I did my work, but when it got down to it, I became a part-time DJ. You know that one scene from Everybody Hates Chris where he's bumping the radio in the back of the in the back of the bus? Bus, that was unironically me damn near every day for that whole year. I would have songs that I downloaded off of YouTube thrown into an MP3 website, and I would just play that shit on the back on it. And like the bus ride was like 20 minutes. Luckily everyone on that bus was a kid, so no one really got annoyed from it. But I think if someone did that now, I wouldn't be too happy. This also just reminded me that parodies may not have been the first genre of music that I've like listened to a lot. It was probably dubstep, mainly dubstep that was posted on the NCS channel, the non-copyright sounds. You know, you have the great hits like Tobu's Candyland and Alan Walker's Faded. I don't think either of those are on that channel, but it was songs like that. If you know those guys, you know. If you were wondering why I had like dubstep as one of the big things, if you guessed YouTube, you'd probably be right, because I was obsessed with like the intros and outros that these YouTubers would have, where the text would be fucking flying around and shit. You guys don't know this, but the first video I've ever uploaded on this channel back in like probably the 5th grade was a video of my first intro. I'll probably play it behind me right here just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But oh my god, I thought these things were so fucking cool, and I'm not gonna be too harsh because I was a kid, but Jesus Christ, man. Oh wow. Anyways, back to the topic at hand. Dubstep was one of the first genres that I would be like, yeah, I'll sit down, you know, listen to it. Had my little LG phone in my pocket with my wired headphones, had the music downloaded like always, because the idea of streaming services was not something that existed in my feeble little 5th grade mind. I would unironically walk around with that shit in my ears. I don't know if I really listened to it that much outside of school. I already mentioned a few of the songs that I was talking about, but we also have like On and Invincible, and what else? What is the last one? Unity by the Fat Rat. I don't know if that guy's still doing shit, but I think I've seen his daughter playing with like that pan that you can tap around and it makes these noises. But yeah, those are a few of the songs I could list off the top of my head. Do I listen to dubstep anymore? No. I do have friends that rave and stuff, and they've been trying to get me to. I'm open-minded, you know, but to each their own. While I was actually writing the script of this video, I went searching and I found like a 20-song playlist on my YouTube account, and man, did I had some great taste, bro. Some elite ball knowledge, and I think I could see myself sitting down and listening to some of these songs. Not all the time. Like, I wouldn't listen to this shit if I was like on a car ride or something, but you know, wasn't the worst thing. I was like sitting down listening to these songs, reminiscing like an old man. I'm not even that old. I'm 19 years old, guys. But yeah, during this like period of my life, this is all I really listened to. Besides like the songs on the radio, you know, you had like The Weeknd, you know, I can't feel my fear, or Ed Sheeran. I can't name one of his songs off the top of my head. I just knew that like his albums had something to do with math. Taylor Swift as well. Bad Blood featuring Kendrick Lamar. Maybe that's the best you'll get out of me. Okay, I'm not a Swiftie. I'm not a fucking loser. Oh god. But like the whole entire period of my life was like low-key a blur. I don't really remember much besides those things. I probably just listened to that shit until like I got into, I'd say maybe 8th grade. The 8th grade is when I discovered real music. I was a little late to it, but you know, greatness takes time, or some shit like that. I don't know, Kobe probably said that. During this time, this guy named Lil Tecca dropped a little song called Ransom, and this discovered a long period of music discovery that I have never realized existed, which is crazy coming from a black guy. Oh, you didn't know what hip-hop and rap was? Remember, the idea of music was a foreign thing to my little ass head, okay? I say little ass head. Those who know, my shit's massive. Dead ass. Not that one. This one. After listening to that song, I like realized that rap music don't sound bad. So I decided to keep listening to more and more and more. I kept listening to more and more. I began to fall in love with the genre. At this point, I was still like on YouTube finding songs, and I would like them and I'd be like, oh man, I like this song. I don't even think I made a playlist for some reason. But then the idea of like Spotify popped into my head randomly. They're just like, yo, what's up? We stream music. And I was like, oh, word. Okay. So I made my own playlist. I still have that playlist, and it's probably the first it's the only playlist I have. Okay. But you could see the first song on it is Ransom. If you like looked at this playlist now, it would look like a fucking jumbled mess. But if you went back to like that period of time, like early 2020, you could see that it was like the songs that were popping off. You know, we had like people like Juice WRLD, Travis Scott. My bad. Shit, I should not have had that. Buffalo Wild Wings. That's just poison. Don't eat that shit. Polo G, Travis Scott. Did I say Travis Scott? I probably did say Travis Scott. But yeah, those are like the big guys. Ski Mask. I already said Ski Mask too. And I just kept adding them again and again to my playlist on my free Spotify account. And you know, I'm not somebody that likes to listen to music chronologically in a playlist. I'm somebody that likes to shuffle. So it wasn't a problem because the shuffle was forced. But these ads were not fun. Every 10 to 15 minutes, you get an ad that popped up. I was so broke, I could not afford the $10. I didn't have a job. I didn't have $10 to spend on in music every month. I used to close the app and reopen it just so I could get some more playing time. Nigga was really broke. I struggled, but now I'm up, okay? I'm up. I can afford it. Shout out the student discount. I don't even listen to many of the guys that I mentioned before, except for you, Travis Scott. Travis, you always have my heart. Travis, please notice me. I just bought this in Chicago, like not even a week ago. Now let me ask you guys a genuine question, bro, because did you know that artists didn't only like drop one song at a time? They actually dropped multiple songs in one go, and these things were called albums. Because, you know, this is a no judgment zone, okay? We don't judge people. You know, you can listen to whatever you want, whatever floats your boat, but we don't judge here, okay? And I didn't realize that albums existed till like I got into high school. I don't know how I went my whole life without knowing that these existed. I don't know how I should feel about it, but that's in the past now, and we look ahead. All right, we're done looking in the past. I lied. I'm still talking about my past. And once I discovered that albums existed, it was raps. All right, I was listening to so many more artists and all their music, and you could see that point in my Spotify playlist, because you'll see songs after songs from the same album, and then it'll go to a different album. If you scroll through it quick enough, it looks like a rainbow of some sort. I was listening to like J. Cole, The Weeknd, Playboi Carti, Kanye, Drake, Jake. I already said J. Cole, Frank Ocean. You know, all these amazing artists and all their music, and I was like, oh my god, this shit is so peak. I would say that this is like the equivalent of my third eye opening up to the whole world of rap music, and you know, we'll just say music in general. You know, I felt like an enlightened being, and I felt greater than everyone else around me. That was a lie. It was basically like that for like a couple years. You know, listen to an album, basically throw the whole thing onto the playlist, and rinse and repeat. I would do that for a couple years. Sometimes I would stray away. You know, we'd get some R&B, Bryson Tiller, the other guy that starts with a B, Brent Faiyaz. It was really rap and R&B, but eventually I was like getting bored of the playlist. You would think that a playlist that had over 2,000 songs would keep you entertained for a while. Turns out, nah. You don't really hear most of the songs you even get to put on there. Spotify just loves to play the same 5 songs over and over again, and you know, I think it was time to get some new change into my life, you know, bring in some new perspectives. Luckily for me, about like a year and a half ago, I started getting back into anime again after like not really watching it after COVID, and one of the shows that I watched was actually Bocchi the Rock. I'm sure we have some guys that know who that is, what that is. If you don't, I think you should just go watch that right now. I think turn the video off, go watch that shit, come back here, and then you'll enjoy what I have to say next. This show was responsible for single-handedly putting me through a whole rabbit hole of new music. It's actually insane that this show just did that to me. I'm such a big fan, in fact, that I don't know if you could see during this whole thing. I'm gonna stand up so y'all can see. We have Kita and Bocchi right here, and I gotta open this shit up. Oh, it's upside down. Fuck. I just bought this copy. I went to like 3 different bookstores over the past week. Not just out of my way to get this, but I don't even like 4-panel manga. I just love Bocchi that much that I had to at least get the first one. And not only that, it's the main reason that I decided to pick up a new instrument. And that new instrument was a guitar. I've been playing guitar for like the past year and a half now, ever since I watched that one scene where Bocchi was like ripping it to save the band. You can find the clip by searching something up like that. I bought this guitar, and if you've been wondering why I haven't been making too much content recently, which you probably aren't, it's because I spend all my time playing this shit and watching The Boys and playing Valorant. I don't mean to toot my own horn either, but I think I'm I'm pretty cracked at this instrument for only playing for like a year and a half. Will I play some right now? Maybe. I'll decide after I finish recording this. When I first picked it up, I was genuinely playing this instrument for like 6 to 8 hours a day, multiple days a week. Not multiple, every day I would pick up this instrument. I had so much free time at the time when I bought that shit. I promise I'm not a bum. School was just very easy. Typically when you pick up an instrument, it's because you've listened to music that had that instrument. It's kind of backwards for me. I kind of picked up the instrument and then started listening to music that had that instrument in it. Cause you know, I don't know if you could name like 5 rap songs that have an electric guitar in it. So, you know, obviously started off with Bochi. Their fictional band has a Spotify page. It goes by the same name that they had in the show. And I've listened to their albums so many times, and I've learned how to play multiple songs. I think I could probably play maybe 6 or 7 off the top of my head. 6, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7. And then from there, I started an even deeper dive into just like the genres of rock itself. We have like J-rock, which is basically Japanese rock music. Basically Bochi's band. That's basically all it is. We have like shoegaze, Midwest emo, indie music. I'm blanking on like other genres, but you get the point. Math rock. I don't know if I said math rock, but wow, you don't really appreciate things like this until you start playing the fucking instrument, because these songs are genuinely incredible. I'll be honest. It's honestly insane what like a single instrument has managed to unlock for me just because I started playing it. Obviously, you don't need an instrument to like listen to any of these songs, but playing this instrument has led me to appreciate a lot of these songs more. The things that people create out there is fucking insane. I'll genuinely like sit there and like listen to a song and I'll be like, how the fuck do you come up with these riffs and all these magical sounds that are touching my ear very softly? And you know, I'm not saying no. I'm sitting there and I'm appreciating it, and it just makes me wonder. Like, have you guys heard of Polyphia? I don't know if you guys even know that this is a band. I found out they existed because one of my friends knew them. He doesn't even play any instruments. This guy's a bum, okay? But these guys, mainly Tim Henson, I know he gets a lot of hate, but dude, this guy manages to find ways to play such beautiful songs and shit, and making them basically physically impossible to play if you don't have a hand that's as long as like an Arizona mango. And it's the same thing for the whole entire like genre of math rock, with their weird ass time signatures and the tapping and the BPM changes and the weird tunings and all of the like all the at this point in my life, I've basically like broken the chain that has held me back from discovering even more music, you know? And I decided, why stop there? You know, I'm gonna dive even deeper. I have like officially moved past the point where I feel ashamed for what I listen to, or even at like just everything, you know, how I dress and shit, which wasn't the case a couple of years ago. I remember like back in the day, if you were someone that like watched anime or like read manga or some shit, people would look at you and like make fun of you. They'd call you a lame ass nigga, and I couldn't handle that. I couldn't be known as a lame ass nigga. So during middle school, I made a change, okay? I went from a lame ass nigga to a real ass nigga. But then I realized, fuck that. All of a sudden became cool to be into lame and loser shit. But yeah, so you know, I'm out here rocking anime characters on my belt and buying manga now. That's where I'm at in my life. I was the kind of kid that would like sit there and watch like Naruto power scaling videos with Roblox music playing in the background. But you know, times are changing, I guess. Now I can walk around wearing an MHA shirt and maybe not be called a slur while walking down the street. Anyways, that's enough of that tangent. Where I was going was, now I listen to a lot more Japanese music, J-rock, J-pop. I know this isn't inherently Japanese. We also have Vocaloid. Vocaloid is a very cool genre, and I think it is probably one of the most impressive ones. I think it's very great. You know that one Fortnite character? I'll actually show you that Fortnite character. You see who that is? Do you see who that is? Look at that. It says Fortnite. Hatsune Miku. Hatsune Miku is my favorite Fortnite character and virtual pop star. I really recommend everyone to check out Vocaloid. And if it's not your cup of tea, you know, at least you could say, hey, I know who Hatsune Miku is. Me personally, I'm more of a Teto guy. but who cares? I'm be honest, at this point in the script, I have basically like checked out. So I'm gonna end this video by showing off some of my favorite songs recently, and I think you should go and listen to them. Yeah, here we go. One of my favorite songs recently also happens to be a Vocaloid song, is called Owesome by Ippo.tsk. Very, very good production. The whole album that song comes off of is also very good. I would like everyone to go and listen to that if you could. I previously mentioned Kesoku Band. Go check them out. If you're into shoegaze, I think a guy that you would probably like listening to is Perno and his great album, which is called, I think, To See the Other Side of the Dream. My fault. It's To See the Next Part of the Dream. Pish Posh is the same shit for J-Rock. You know, Yorushika, Tuyu, Polka Dot Stingray as well. I really like these three guys. Very cool guitar playing if you're really trying to get into the J-Rock genre as a whole. Flying Fish. I also like Otuka. Kind of rock, kind of isn't. I don't know how to explain it, but it's good music. If you're leaning towards like some math rock, we have like A Picture of Her or The Cabs. Those are two of my favorite math rock bands. If you're looking for like one of the goats of guitar playing, not really niche, Jimi Hendrix. I really love his playing style. Very cool guy. Sadly, he passed away very early in his life, but what he left behind as a guitar player is very, very impressive. There's also Ishikino Nai. The name is behind me, okay? Very cool math rock band. I like their music. There's also Susquatch. If you don't know who they are, which you probably don't, but you might also, they're like the band that created their own language for an album. It's really just a bunch of gibberish. I find their music very, very cool, and I think you should check out Spin the Words. I think it's a great way to get into it. I'll also list some rappers off: Bryson Tiller, Jordan Ward, Travis, like always, Don Toliver. Doesn't have a single bad song. It's all good music. There's also Kendrick Lamar. I'm a big Kendrick Lamar guy. Such a big fan, in fact, that for my English class, I decided to write a whole maybe 3-page essay about just the Super Bowl. I got an A on that. If you are wondering. I think that's all I'm gonna list off for now. There's a lot of music out there. Go out and discover what you like. Don't let people stop you from listening to what you like or what you want to listen to, because growing up, you know, I felt like I couldn't really listen to anything other than rap, which is a big part of why I boxed myself into just that genre. But don't be afraid. Be yourself. Do whatever you want. I might make another video about music. Who knows? I really enjoy talking about this. I'm gonna be honest. This is one of my favorite things to do in my part-time. I don't know if you could tell. I really did not write like a proper outro for this video, so I'm just gonna end the video right now.